Hey everyone, it's Dave. I recently posted a video of me restoring the front forks to my Honda TL125, and they came out so good that I just couldn't help myself. So I'm out of control. I'm going nuts. Cleaning everything up. I've got this bike apart. Yeah, there's the frame, stripped down to nothing. Here's the engine over here. So I'm going to town. Got to clean up the engine, degrease it, shine it up. I got to clean and degrease the frame and figure out what I'm going to do with that as far as painting goes. Perhaps sandblasting it first. But this stuff looks so good that I couldn't help myself. So let's keep going. Alright, so I got the engine off now. I'm just going to degrease it and power wash it just to clean it up. Alright, now I'm going to clean up the frame, again with some degreaser and a power wash. Alright, here is the frame after I degreased and power washed it, just to kind of clean it up to see what I do have to work with here. Everything looks really good. Look at that skid plate. I mean, there's not even a mark on it. There's no dents on it. It's beautiful. This frame's in great shape. So now I have to decide what to do with it. Obviously this won't fit in my blast cabinet. I really would like to sandblast it like I've done everything else so it can take a good coat of paint that will stick to it. But that's the after shot of the frame, all cleaned up. And now we're going to have to do some work to it. So that's the frame. And here's a before look at the engine after just simply degreasing it. This side cover looks like it may have been painted, perhaps. Seems to be a different tint than the rest of the engine. So we got to address that, make that look nice. But the cylinder head looks nice. That brightener kind of brightened things up as it's supposed to. But it still looks pretty ugly. You can't put this on a brand new painted frame, it will look terrible. So got to come up with some plans and an idea to dress the engine up and make it look nice. I'm not sure what that's going to be yet, but I will tell you that it will look great when I'm done. Alright, so here I am after I've degreased and brightened the engine up. I want to make it look better than this. So I've got a smaller version of that same Scotch-Brite pad that I had on my buffer. I've got it on my die grinder here. I've cut the air pressure down to about 40 psi because this doesn't have to go 22,000 RPMs for this. And let's see what this does. Can you see that? That looks nice. And this is what it looks like. That looks pretty nice. I'm going to go and do more of the engine like this, and we'll come back and see what it looks like. Alright, here's a quick little peek as I'm starting with this aluminum brushing, I guess you might call it. You know, it definitely looks better. I mean, it's certainly not perfect. And maybe by the time I'm done with it, it'll look pretty good. And I don't know how much of this actually shows once it's in the bike. But I want to take the side cover off. Looks like it's been painted. Take the side cover off, put it through the blast cabinet, and maybe brush it on my buffer wheel and then bring it back. But let me take the side cover off and see what I can do with it. Alright, so I took this cover off. Here it is. I'm going to clean it up. I had to empty it out. The ignition system lives in here. Little notes: when you take this side cover off and the engine is level, oil pours out of it. So let's take this thing over to the blast cabinet and we'll clean it up. Alright, here's a quick look out of the blaster. Now I'm going to take it over to the wheel and see what it looks like. Hopefully it can kind of match the sheen of the rest of the engine. Alright, so I'm starting the polishing of this engine to see what it looks like, and here's just a little flavor of how this thing's going to look. Pretty slick, actually. That's just parts of it, but I thought I'd give you a heads up. And I still got to go over the top of it, and this cover, these caps, I got to clean them all up, make them nice. But this is what that cover ended up looking like. The chain guard looks pretty slick, and I get the whole other half of the other side to do, but that's just a little teaser for what the engine's going to look like. Okay, and here I've got a lot of the metal parts that came off the bike. These are pretty much all the black painted parts. Got the chain guard, got the air box, the exhaust shield, kickstand, the toolbox. All glass beaded. I mean, look at that thing. That thing is ready for paint. It looks perfect. The swing arm, that glass bead just does such a nice job. I'd hate to have to be wire brushing this thing for days and it would never come out anywhere near this nice. Here's that super expensive exhaust that you can't get anywhere. Nobody has. I'll pay a fortune for it. This thing is mint. Absolutely mint, except for perhaps a spark arrestor. I'm going to have to figure out something to do with this. Can't get these anywhere. Have to maybe fabricate something that looks identical to it to kind of pass inspection. The other parts of the exhaust and the bottom of the triple tree. So I ordered some 2K 2-part primer, and I'm just waiting for that to come in. Then I can wipe off all these parts, hang them, and shoot them with some epoxy primer and get them ready for paint. Some of these things are going to be glossy black. Others will be satin black. But we're getting close to some of the fun stuff now. Up to this point, it's just kind of been work. But stay tuned for some painting on this bike, and then some assembly. That's when it really gets fun. So stay tuned.